Sit tight. This one is wild. I just pieced together what's really going on with those South African helicopters turning up in Libya. And I'm going to walk you through it like we're having a Brian Biltong together. By the end, you'll see how deep this runs, who is involved, and what they might want next. Recently, multiple media outlets, Defense Web, City Press, exposed that at least 4 Gazelle helicopters were exported from South Africa all the way to Libya, ending up in territory held by warlord Khalifa Haftar. The trucks didn't just drive them across the border. These choppers were flown out via Russian charter aircraft, IL-76 types, on routes that appear to mask their true destination. Flight plans are allegedly falsified. The paperwork lists destinations like Jordan, masking the real route to Benghazi, Libya. In Libya, the helicopters were seen doing formation flyovers in Benghazi with South African registration plates covered by Libyan flags. Also, these aircraft are not brand new. They were reportedly demilitarized, civilian registered, changed hands a few times, then refurbished, some with armor and weapons before being shipped. So yeah, this wasn't a few old choppers vanishing into Libyan soil. No, it looks like a very serious operation. So why is this a problem? And Summer, why does this even matter? Why should I hear about this? Well, first, the legal angle. Libya is under a United Nations arms embargo, meaning military hardware transfer is heavily restricted. They're not allowed to get guns from other places. Even demilitarized aircraft turned into war machines can violate the embargo. You get what I mean? If South Africa helped any of these transfers, directly or indirectly, if we were the Skellums, we could be complicit in breaking international law. Second, the diplomatic and reputational angle. If it comes out that individuals, companies, or even state agents were behind this, South Africa's image will take another blow. Countries watching will say, South Africa says it's a democracy, but its instruments are used in shady foreign wars. Also, for you and me, the citizens, our tax money, our infrastructure oversight, if those systems are used or manipulated to allow this, you should be angry, because security, oversight, exports, those are used to protect us and not betray us. Third, the security and trust angle. How many other flights, weapons, or shady cargo have passed under the radar? If chartered Russian IL-76s can move military hardware using falsified plans, then the system is very leaky. That's dangerous. Also, the fact that these helicopters had South African registration traces, even if masked, means they were moved not from Mars. Our systems, parts, people might be involved or compromised. But here's how I see it. I don't believe this is random. You want to know why? Let me tell you why I believe there's in fact a pattern. And in fact, I believe those patterns show that power in South Africa isn't accountable. It's hidden, and sometimes it's very unholy. This is how I think it plays out. Some private or semi-private entities in South Africa had access to these gazelles. Maybe old military, maybe defense contractors, maybe shell companies, maybe military officials gone rogue. Then they used international middlemen, the Russian charters, questionable flight plans to move them out, because direct routes would raise red flags. You get what I mean? Once in Libya, the civilian to military conversion happens. Extra armor, extra weapons, rearming. Now these same helicopters help warlords fight. And in Benghazi, they do flyovers. That's symbolism. That's, look what we imported. That's power. But the real twist is, people back home might have facilitated or turned blind eyes. This can't happen without complacency and oversight. But now, let me give you the juicy unanswered stuff. I'll leave all the boring stuff because this is what we need to grill them on. Who authorized the export in South Africa? Was there a legal permit or was the paperwork faked? Which companies, brokers, or individuals handled the chain? We must know the names. Did any government agencies, by any chance, such as Customs, Export Control, Aviation Authority, flag or sign off these flights? If so, who? Were flight plans altered during mid-route? Did the transponders switch off or routes change mid-air? Who owned the helicopters before export? What was their last registered identity and maintenance history? Was there any South African state level or intelligence complicity? Or was this entirely rogue network? Here's what you and me should keep our eyes on. Audio, documents, leaks, you get the idea. Because official statement from South Africa's Department of Defense, Department of Transport, or Civil Aviation Export Control Authorities. Flight logs, ADS-B tracking data to see those Russian IL-76s, flight paths, stops, serial numbers. We need to get all of that. Investigative journalists must dive deep. They must manifest download civil suit documents, leaked internal memos without dying because, hey, they can assassinate you. International pressure, UN, EU, US responses. Are they calling South Africa in? Will sanctions be considered? In fact, more sanctions. Follow the names. Any whistleblowers, any named companies, any shell firms, any brokers. We need the visual evidence, guys. Images, videos of the helicopters, at least in Libya, matching serials or plant patterns. We need whistleblowers inside SA, but guys, you know what to do. Don't go out there and get killed. From within military or defense or aviation to speak out. Bruv, imagine our choppers going for a holiday in Libya. Like, hey, we're just grabbing sun and sand over here. The charters listed Jordan as a stop. Jordan, bruv, that is called a stopover to nowhere. People in Pretoria seeing IL-76s land in Uppington like, hey bana, guys, are we moving furniture here or war? They covered South African registration plates with Libyan flags. That's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. It's very obvious. So, I'm sure you're asking, but Sama, why Libya? Maybe they'll tell you vacation, war, heartbreak, who knows? Meanwhile, South African citizens struggling with load shedding, impounded helicopters flying overseas, the irony alone could kill. I believe what's happening is state plus private collusion at some level. So this isn't small thieves. This is mid to high level arms trafficking through South Africa as a transit point. I believe many inside South Africa's oversight chain are scarred or complicit. Because if this network is exposed fully, it brings down not just shadow workers, but it brings down some who thought they were untouchable. But I also believe we, the people, have power. Because when we demand transparency, when we dig for records, when we pressure media and government, we force those shadows to scurry. So share this video. Let people know that, hey, they've taken our helicopters. Helicopters didn't just vanish. They flew out undercover. They stole. Ask those tough questions in comments, community forums, posts. Demand replies from government departments. And please support this channel. Can you subscribe there? We've been at 60.8k subs for a while now. And I know there's some of you watching this who haven't subscribed. So you better do it before I find you. But nonetheless, I trust you. And moral of the story today, kids, don't let them gaslight you with trade routes or civilian cargo excuses. Push back. Because this is more than helicopters. This is a system showing its rot in flight. We don't just watch. We expose. We demand. We fight in the open. So, there you have it. You asked me to tell you just what on earth is going on. Now you see. So stay loud. Stay watching. Subscribe right now. And most importantly, stay dangerous. I am the Summer Sambit, your one and only shadow in the noise. And like always, it ain't no payday yet. I'll see you next time.